Hi everybody, welcome to week 7. Can you believe it? Week 7? Oh my gosh. All right, our objectives for this week are develop an evidence-based presentation and analyze strategies used to disseminate evidence to influence healthcare outcomes. We're definitely going to meet these this week because you'll be working hard to finish your final paper and presentation, and there is only one discussion question this week because of that. So your initial response to that discussion question is actually only due Monday at midnight. So you've got a little extra time there. And then you still do need to have 3 substantive replies posted over 3 days. So whenever you have a chance to pop in that initial reply, that's great. All right, so let's look at this final proposal. So you're going to update all of the previous sections A through G when you get that back. And so you'll have one smooth document. So if you changed your focus, if you changed the articles that you used, if you look at the feedback that I gave you, all those changes need to be incorporated now in that final document. Okay. The list of what needs to be included in the final proposal is in the document for your course resources, and I think it's also under the directions. Nursing 699 Evidence-Based Practice Project Format. It looks like this. It lists all the sections and all the appendices. Okay. Now I want to caution you. You're going to use that document to organize your paper. We're going to talk about that. Please do not format your paper like the student example that is included. I don't know where that example came from. I didn't upload it. It's a GCU thing, but I think it was probably based on an old version of the course, and it has some good writing in it, some good examples about how to talk about your evidence, things like that. Do not use it for formatting, okay? So we're going to look at the components on here and kind of go through some different things. So obviously first you're going to start with a title page, just like you always do. And then we're just going to go right down the list. So first, an abstract is required for this, okay? And in the directions it spells out what needs to go in the abstract. Remember, an abstract goes on its own page with nothing else, okay? So its own page. And it comes right after the title page. So title page, abstract. The third page then is the table of contents. The table of contents needs to include everything that's on this list. Okay, so you're going to list it out, and then at the end you'll come back and put in your page numbers wherever they end up. Okay. Right, now comes the body of your paper, right? So that's where you're going to use multiple headings. So let's talk about headings. So each section, section A, section B, section C, okay, will have a heading that actually says Section A, Organizational Culture and Readiness Assessment. Section B, Problem Description. Okay, so those are going to be your big level 1 headings. Okay, so each section won't have its own page. It's just going to continue like a regular paper, but it will have its own heading. Okay, now those headings for the section are level 1, which is centered, bold, using upper and lower case. Okay, so where you say section A, section B, centered, bold, upper and lower case. So with each section, you'll use a heading to identify the various parts of the assignment underneath that. Just like you did for the weekly papers, you put subheadings, okay? Now these will be level 2 headings. So the one that says section A, section B, they're level 1. The other ones within each section are level 2. So level 2 go all the way to the left, bold, upper and lower case. Okay, so that's level 1 and level 2. And I think those are the only levels of headings that you'll need, just level 1 and level 2. I think it will be fine. Now, for each section, I would really like you to stick with the original word count from the directions, if at all possible. That would be very helpful for me as the reader. And then within each section, you'll also mention the extra documents that are in the appendices. For instance, you might say, see Appendix C for an image of the conceptual model. Okay, so you'll refer to the appendices in the narrative of your document. So then, okay, we go through section A through section G, that's the body. Then we get to the reference section, which starts a new page, just like you do on every paper reference section, okay? Please, 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 please follow APA format. That specifically gets graded on your last proposal, and I know you guys can do it, and you've got plenty of resources, so don't let me down. Okay, so once you've listed out all your references, then the appendices start. Each appendix will be on a separate page. So the conceptual model's on a separate page, the resource list is on a separate page. At the top of each one, you will use the big center heading. So you'll say like Appendix A, Critical Appraisal Checklist. And then you'll just include those page after page of those. Then you'll start a new page, Appendix B, Evaluation Table. I hope that makes sense. So that's the order of how we're going to be including things in this final proposal. Okay, I think those are the big formatting things. So the directions for each one of those appendices were in the section of the paper directions that it fell under, right? So you do need to go back. I'm really hoping that as you did each section, you were doing all the things that you need to put in the appendices, but I know, it's easy to get behind. So that's where the directions are. Okay, there is a rubric for this assignment, and oh, of course my phone is going to beep now, but hopefully that'll turn it off. Okay, the categories are pretty broad because you received very specific feedback each week on each section. Now, ideally, your proposal will be uploaded as one document, just flowing right through. Every once in a while, I have a student who just can't get the formatting for one piece of paper. Maybe it's like the evaluation table or I don't know, but sometimes that happens. If that's the case, you need to make sure you upload everything, the main paper, or the appendix, whatever. Upload them all before you hit that submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you can't upload anything else. So just be careful on that. All right, so that's the written proposal. On to the PowerPoint presentation. So when you look at the directions for this, there's not a specific number of slides. What it says is you should be able to read through all your speaker notes within 10 to 12 minutes. So for each slide, you're going to have speaker notes at the bottom in the speaker notes section, right? But I would think that you would have at least 10 slides, not including your reference slides, okay? And remember, I really need to be able to clearly read your slides, but on the last slides that are your reference ones, you can go ahead and use a smaller font on those reference slides. That's fine. So each slide will have general information from the different sections, and then each slide will have those speaker notes in the attached section at the bottom. So you'll need to include something about each section of the proposal, but remember, this is an EBP project, so you really want to highlight that evidence because that's what the whole thing is based on, right? Okay, so basically you're going to pretend that you're presenting these slides and this information to whatever group or committee at your facility would be hearing about this and evaluating your proposal for approval. Okay? So that's kind of the approach you're going to take. And remember, you do need to include citations in your slides or in your speaker notes, okay? Because then you'll have the references at the end that go with those citations. So remember, your slides do need to be visually appealing. This is a presentation to important people at your facility. And so you don't want them cluttered, and you should include something else visual besides just bullet points of words, okay? Because you want to break it up. There's a specific part of the scoring for this assignment that talks about how the slides are put together, essentially. All right, that's everything I can think of right now for these assignments. I cannot wait to see them. You should be very proud of all the hard work that you have put in to this proposal. I know it might seem like a burden, but not every MSN graduate can say that they have actually practiced completing an EBP proposal. It is a big deal, and it's something that is very practical to the workplace for a master's prepared nurse. So, all right, guys, I can't wait to see them. We're drawing close to the end, and I'll see you in the main forum.